Welcome to another episode of the Ripple Podcast, where we talk about the things that matter to small business. I'm Brian Walker, your host.
Kim Walker
is my co-host, and we're here today with Jess Peele, who is a server at the Southern Cafe, the Great Southern
Cafe
in Seaside.
And it really is great, so I can't leave that part out.
The grits are great.
And Kim and I met Jess
January.
January this year. We came to have breakfast, and I knew something was different as soon as...
We were in town for the weekend. We didn't come all the way from Louisiana just to have breakfast.
Yeah, but I knew that something was different when Jess shook my hand when he met me at the table, and I don't think that I've ever had someone do that, and the experience just got better and better from there. We were absolutely blown away by the customer service that this man provides. We watched him at the other tables that he was serving.
Yeah, we were studying.
And
they were watching me.
He truly put on a show. And we knew at that time that we had to do something.
Something was different there.
With Jess. And when we started the podcast, he was one of the very first people that Kim brought it up, was like, we have to have Jess on the podcast.
Well, we have an Excel spreadsheet where we just sat down and started brainstorming. All right, who are we going to interview? What's the topic going to be? And we have like 50, pretty quickly, close to 50 people on there. And Jess is way up there. I'm like, dude's customer service is seriously, it's the best.
Yeah. I like being way up there. On a lot of things in my life, I like being way up there.
It's a good place to be.
It is a good place to be.
So tell us a little bit about yourself and about the Great Southern Cafe.
So I started here at Great Southern almost 4 years ago, March 28th, okay? And it started off as a food runner. So I got to experience every dish that came out of this restaurant. I got to take a look at it. And that way I learned the menu just in case I had any questions. Because the truth of the matter is I actually overwhelm people when they come to this restaurant. I will give you so much knowledge about this restaurant that when you come back and I'm not here to take care of you, you'll actually know some things that you can do, right?
I believe that. Yeah.
So I've been in the restaurant industry off and on since I was 12, 13 years old. I started working at a country club whenever I was a young guy, doing wedding receptions and stuff like that in Dillon, South Carolina when I was growing up. And it kind of stayed that way for a while. So the knack for talking to people, I've always had it. You know, my mother always wanted to be a lawyer whenever I got older. Come to find out, I just like to party. and dealing with people. I'm a face-to-face kind of guy. I'm not a person that likes to talk over the phone. And serving it's like a show, just like you said. People come here to have a good time, and I like to think that I give it to them.
I would say that you do. I mean, it was very clear that just on that first day. I mean, we also kind of made it difficult for you, but you skipped right over all of that with our whole 30 business, and you were trying so hard.
I was.
You really did.
I did.
It worked out. We had a great experience, and we've been here several times before, and everybody's always awesome, but there was just something different about Jess.
I get that all the time. I have people that come in and they say, well, where'd you come from and how long have you been here? 4 years.
Yeah.
And they go, no, you haven't. Oh, yeah, I have. And they're like, well, why haven't we had you before? And I said, well, I don't know. You got me today, and now we can start our relationship.
So in that conversation that we had with you on our first trip, you'd come and you'd go, and in between, we were talking about you. We were like, well, what's his story? Where'd he come from? Why is he so awesome? It's so hard to find great customer service these days. I mean, it's just everybody's in a rush, and everybody's got their own story and their own thing they're thinking about. So in that conversation, we found out that you're a veteran.
Yes, ma'am.
And so there's so much to be said about people that are veterans and how they have this great discipline and positive attitude. And but that stuff is hard. What you said that back when you were 13, 14, you got involved in this. Talk to me about how the military may have given you some well-roundedness, or how it plays into you being a server.
Okay. First of all, I want to give a shout out to United States Marine Corps. I think about it all the time, and I still love it. I always wanted to be in the service. You know, when I was growing up, my oldest brother went into the Marine Corps, and I thought it was the coolest thing. You know, one of the first letters he sent me when he was in boot camp at Parris Island, he sent me one of his covers, which regular people call hats. We call them covers in the Marine Corps. And ever since then, I wanted to be I wanted to be a Marine. And you know, the military instills a lot of things. You know, teamwork, discipline, integrity. Well, I know that's what the Marine Corps does. I can't vouch for the other services because nobody in my family served in the Marine Corps or any other service but my brother and I, and he was a reservist. So I'm not going to say that doesn't count because he did. He went through boot camp, and they say that's the hardest one. But discipline, you know, and patience, you know, is so tough with everything that you said as far as being in such a fast society. Always go. It teaches you patience. I think I like to think that I had a little bit of decency and common sense and discipline, you know, from my mother raising a bunch of us by herself. But that's what it instilled of me. You know, teamwork, integrity, you know, making sure that when you start something, you finish it. And I still struggle with that today. If I start something, I need to finish it because I don't handle failure well. And the Marine Corps doesn't teach failure. You know what?
Yeah.
You get it done, and by God, if you can't get it done, you find somebody who can get it done.
Right.
And that's, you know, I like to think that I wear that on my sleeve as far as the Marine Corps because I think about it every day. And the majority of people I run into, I wish they would serve. You know, I wish it was one of those things where you say, oh, congratulations, you graduated high school, you're serving a year in the Marine Corps or the military.
Yeah. I mean, I think a lot would be different in our society if everybody had to be involved in that in some way.
Or waiting tables for a year.
Yeah.
Because what it boils down to is kind of like it's not necessarily like going to war. I can't put it in that category, but, you know, we deal with so many different dynamics of people. You know, the same thing as, you know, in the armed forces, you have to come together as a team from people from all over the world and having to make sure everything's done correctly. If not done correctly, done. Right. Does that make sense?
Yeah. No, I totally get it. I was a server, too, all the way through college. I mean, I worked 3 jobs.
Oh, yeah.
When I was in college. And one was working at the university as a student worker, but the others was being a server. So I totally understand where you're coming from with that.
Yeah. Now, when we were talking to you in January, you know, we needed to find out some more, you know, about you. So we were asking, and you talked about how your mother was a big influence on you. But the other thing that you talked about was how when somebody comes here, you know, they're on vacation. They are getting away from the stresses and the day-to-day life, and that you personally have, you know, a lot of things going on in your life.
Oh, yeah.
But that's not what those people came here for. It's like you turn it off, you know, the things that are going on in life, and immediately you are there to make that person's day better.
100%.
Talk a little bit about that.
Well, it goes into the fact that, you know, yes, a restaurant can have really, really good food. And we have really good food here at Great Southern. We really do. But for the most part, you leave your issues at the door. You know, I think that's important for a lot of jobs. Yes, I might have a lot of things going on in my life. Yes, I might be stressed out to the max. But you come here for good food and a good experience. Because, you know, when it's all said and done, that's what brings people back. I don't know if it's a natural switch, but, you know, they're not only paying for the food, they're paying for the ambiance, right? For me, whenever I go out to places, you know, I want to learn about the restaurant. I want to learn about that waitress or that waiter. That way it feels like there's a little tiny relationship. Like I tell a lot of people, I try to make each table fall in love with me in short periods of time, you know, because for one, they're going to think about me when they think about the restaurant. Now, I'm not trying to be selfish. It's one, they're going to think about good food, and hopefully when they think about good food, they'll think about Jess, or they'll think about Fernanda, or Heather, or Walter, or the others that work here that people actually come back and see. It's all about, when it boils down to it, it's all about you. It's all about the customer, because at the end of the day, you pay the bills, right? And you coming back is job security for everybody. So I want you to have a good time. And when I leave, then I can bring my problems back into my life. But at work, you're at work. That's another thing about the military and my mother. When you're working, you're working. You know, I'm not going to sit here and have a conversation with you about what happened to me last week. I don't want you to feel bad for me. I want you to have a good time. I want you to enjoy yourself. And if you fall in love with me, that's an extra bonus.
But, when you do that, you're also really kind of helping yourself. I mean, if I wake up and whatever my issues are, if I live in them all day long, I'm miserable, I'm unhappy. I mean, not only is the customer not going to have a great experience, but you're going to be in a grumpy, terrible mood and worried and stressed out, and that's going to play into everything that you say and do all day long.
And some customers can see that. Some customers that eat out a lot, they can see that. They can see a shift in mood, or this guy must have had a bad day, or he must have a lot going on, because they're not engaging. I think that's probably the key word about customer service, right? I think it's engaging. Engage with you.
Yeah.
Where are you from? Oh, fantastic. You don't know what a grit is? Well, let me show you. Okay. You know what? I want to make you a fan.
How often does that happen?
All the time.
Seriously?
All the time, people. A lot of people don't realize what grits are because they're so used to, they'll have it in their mind that it's something like oatmeal. And then you go, nope, not like oatmeal.
Or cream of wheat.
Or cream of wheat. Or farina. A lot of people.
I don't know what farina is.
Farina is.
That sounds like the girl from Shrek.
What
Wasn't that her name?
I don't know. But she was a gorgeous Shrek. She was a good-looking green monster. She really was. But it's a lot of people don't realize what they are. Especially people up north.
Yeah.
If they weren't raised on grits, I was raised on them. So I know.
Me too, man.
I know what good grits are. No, I mean, not trying to pun intended.
These are good grits.
They're good grits. They're fantastic.
They have Gouda cheese in them.
Smoked Gouda cheese in them, and that's what makes it special. People try to make these grits all the time, and it's just something that we do here. I don't know if it's the way we stir it.
Well, there's a girl that I used to work with when we lived in North Carolina, and she was from the north, and we went to a breakfast buffet, and she didn't understand why there were mashed potatoes on the buffet. She's like, she put it on her plate. I'm like, what do you? Well, I had it on my plate, and she's like, why did you get mashed potatoes?
Exactly.
I'm like, girlfriend.
No. Girlfriend, these aren't mashed potatoes, and I don't think they have any gravy. No, they don't.
That's so
All right,
funny.
so I'm going to reel us back in.
Okay.
Well, we're reeling back in.
So, your ability to serve people and to read people, is that something that just comes naturally to you, or is that just a craft that you have refined over the years?
I think it might be a little bit of both. Being where I grew up, there was a really, really large dynamic of people. And I don't know if I was born with the gift of the gab, as people say it. I mean, there's other ways to put that slogan, gift of the gab. But I have, over the years, I've been friends with the worst, the best, the rich, the poor. I've been friends with all of them. So as far as that dynamic, I've took little bits and pieces out of every person that I've ever met, and I've just kind of put it together, put it into this, and reading people. I think that's something that people can craft over time. The more people you deal with, starting to work in the industry where you deal solely with people, you actually figure out what a lot of people are like. Not to get into the personal business, but I can read customers when they're having a bad day, when they're having a great day, and I feed off of that. And even when they're having a bad day, I'll feed off of it because I want them to have a good day.
Yeah.
So I think it's a little natural ability to be able to talk to people, but also it's crafted over time. Yeah. Not to sound uppity about it.
No, you're very energetic, very outgoing. Do you ever run across that person that you're like, I can't do this with
Absolutely.
them? Yeah.
100%.
Tone it way down for them.
And you have to, one of the things that bothers me the most is just about restaurant industry in general is, what's a nice way to put this? Rudeness. That's a nice way to put it.
Well, it is what it is.
It is what it is. People just having a little bit of decency. Don't be rude. I'm sorry if you're having a bad day, but don't be rude about it.
But it's your job to be nice.
Exactly.
And you can't not do that.
Right. It's hard to cut off the nice switch when you know that you depend on the nice switch and you depend on those people coming back. But unfortunately, what I've realized working in this area at this restaurant is, what? Money can't buy you happiness. That's the bottom line. Money can't buy you happiness. But there's ways to handle customers that are in a terrible mood. If you can't break through in the first couple of minutes to them, then you know what? Let's leave it be.
You could be in a bad mood on vacation. I mean,
You can.
it's
can.
it's hot. You're tired. You got kids driving you crazy.
Running
or
around.
teenagers.
Right. Eating crayons.
But you really do. I mean, we've watched you. You still have that awesome experience, but no matter what your table looks like, or how they're talking, or whatever it might be, you're still Jess.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Which is consistency, right? I mean,
Consistency.
what's one of the things that we've talked about, even in our own experiences with going to restaurants, is inconsistency. Is it's the service was great this day, but it wasn't that day, or the food was great. That's one of the things that. Like, have you ever thought of yourself as being on the marketing team? I mean, I think a lot of people may not, but I think you totally get that.
Oh, 100%. Because a lot of people that, and I say a lot of people, I mean, I wish I had like a definite like statistic, like 85% of the people that come in this restaurant, they always ask me, so how long have you owned the place? Nope, just a server.
Not me.
And they're like, and they always say, well, you know what? You make the experience. We're going to come back. The food's great, but we're going to come back to see you because you really take pride in what you do. Now, at times, do I feel that way? No, but I'm not going to let you see it. I'm not going to let you see it.
Right.
So, yeah, I'm definitely a part of a marketing team. And the truth of the matter, we're walking billboards. We see so many people at this.
Well, y'all are kind of the face of the business.
We are the face of the business, especially front of the house. It'd be different if, customers walk through the kitchen. Like, okay, your food's coming up. Come back to the kitchen. You're about to see it plated. No. I think all of us who are in the front of the house, we are the face of the business. You have to be. And
Yeah.
I think we have a great team here at Great Southern. Unfortunately, this place is kind of like a revolving door. But the good thing about this place is consistency, like you said. The food's always good.
Yeah.
Always good.
Well, we have friends that are just raving fans that when we started coming to this area, I know two in particular were like, you have to go to the Great Southern. And we didn't come the first, I think we were here probably 3 or 4 times before we ever came to the Great Southern. And now it's we have to go every time we come. But
you guys actually sat at table 32. I remember that morning. Over on the other side of the deck. Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
I remember.
Where we were.
So how do the other servers take to you? Do they tend to learn from you? How does that work?
I think a lot of them might take to me a little bit, but for the most part, you know what? This is a selfish business. I hate to make it sound like that, but it's the truth. You know what? It is up to you to make sure your customer has a good time. Now, do I do things out of the ordinary? Do I take things a little too far? You daggone right I do. I will overwhelm you, like I said earlier when we started. I will overwhelm you with things, small things, because those small things will bring you back. Like,
absolutely.
Do you remember when he brought me that cup, or you remember that side of sugar that Jess did for us? I think some of the people that we work with, maybe they don't take to me, and that's okay. I'm here to make friends with customers. I'm here to make fans of customers, and if the people that I work with don't necessarily like that, then that's okay.
Well, I think there's also a difference. At least I remember when I was in the industry years ago, there are people who rise to the top, and there are people who are there just for their shift and let me make my tips and go home. And you know what I'm saying? Like,
no, I think that's like any other business. I going back to my mother, always give up things 100%. I always give things 100%, whatever it is. I'm gonna hit that gas and I'm gonna go. Because that's all I know, and maybe some people aren't like that.
Yeah,
that's just how I am.
Are you one of the ones? So if somebody comes on as a new server, are you one of the trainers?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I would imagine.
Ma'am.
I would think if you weren't, I would be surprised. So, kind of talking again about the marketing team, because our listeners are, for the most part, small business owners, or marketing professionals, people that are looking to grow their business, and coming back to the being a part of the marketing team, I know that when we were here in January, although again I'm a small business owner, so it's real important to me about reviews and that relationship that you develop with the customer. So when I'm not one who writes bad reviews. There's plenty of people out there who do that. I don't want to be that person, and it really kind of irritates me when people take it too far and get out of control. So when I left here, I think I may have done it in the car. Like I was probably in the park, but I went because I'm a business owner and we're a marketing agency, so we're trying to teach our clients ask for the review. You never did ask for us to write a review. I just me being me knew when I left here I wrote a review on TripAdvisor, Google, and Facebook, and I purposely set my Facebook, so I wrote a review, but then I wrote on my own personal profile and set it as public and said, share this. Right. I want people to know about Jess at the Great Southern. And I don't know if that ever came back, but the whole came back to you. I mean, it sounds like you know that it was on TripAdvisor, but what would you say is the importance of reviews? How many people come in and say, I read about a review with Jess and I want to sit in his area?
It's big time. It's big time, especially these days. TripAdvisor, Yelp, Facebook, communication and electronic technology these days is so easy to reach out and share your opinion. As far as I know, there's thousands upon thousands of people that check that stuff out. There's a lot of people that always come in and go, I read a TripAdvisor, or I read a Yelp review. Are you Jess? Yeah, well, hey, yes, I am. I am Jess. Well, we read about you. I'm not one to ask people to do reviews. If they want to, yes. But if you don't want to say anything about me, fine. Say something about the restaurant. Because I want people to come back to the restaurant.
Right.
And on a side note, okay, come back and see me. But for the most part, we need people to hear about this restaurant because it's good. It's hospitality, it's good food. I want people to come back here, not just for me, but for everybody in this business. It's important for customers to come back to this, return customers. You know what? We're always going to have an influx of customers that come to this place, being the location. But having people from out of town that travel here and go, you know what? We got to go to Great Southern.
Right.
That's really, really a good feeling for people that come back.
Yeah. It's real important. I mean, we actually do that for some of our clients. We have a plan in place where we're helping them solicit reviews because it's so big.
Absolutely.
Now, for our listeners, we're sitting in Seaside at the Great Southern on a beautiful rainy morning under a tin roof.
That's right.
That's not static in the background. That is ambiance. We'll call that.
There you go.
I like that. That's nice, Brian.
So, talk to us a little bit about company culture. The culture here at the Great Southern, and what that means to you.
As far as the area that this restaurant is stuck in the middle, and for everybody listening, Seaside is something to check out. As far as the architecture, the fashion, even though I hate to say that, the fashion and what draws people here. I mean, from all over the country, people come to this place. And as far as the culture goes, there's one. What's the word?
I don't know. I lost it too.
There's one thing that's I hate to keep using the word consistent, but that's what I get. This place stays consistent, yes. But as far as the people and the culture, more people are hearing about this area. Santa Rosa Beach area, this entire area is one of the fastest growing places in America right now. So we're always having a different influx of customers and culture that come into this restaurant all the time. Now, different people, different waves of people, that's always going to change, I think, the culture of a restaurant. But for the most part, business is business. Good food is good food. Good service is good service.
Now, specifically the company culture, between the staff and the ownership and all that. Like, we were watching just a little while ago as you were interacting with one of the guys who works in the kitchen, and, could tell that y'all are friends.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, there's no doubt
right
there. So what is that like?
This is, the restaurant, the Melting Pot, right? I'm not trying to give them a little shout out, but the way I look at it is everybody's different. Everybody's different, but we all try to live for that common goal. For the most part, everybody that works here are friends. Right now, are they let's go to dinner after we work kind of friends? That kind of culture as far as the way the employees treat each other? Not so much, not to my knowledge. But for the most part, everybody gets along here.
Well, you referenced team
Right.
several times, so clearly there's some teamwork
it's important,
here.
especially as busy as a restaurant like this is. It's important that everybody helps each other out, and for the most part, everybody does that. Everybody is treated with respect here. You would like to think that everybody treats everybody with respect. The management, I think they do everything they possibly can to make the transition of day in and day out business of especially a very busy place like this comfortable and smooth. But people are people. Just because we see a lot of people throughout the day doesn't mean that everybody doesn't have their own issues going on. And maybe some of them don't leave it at the door.
Well, I think that's where the respect comes in, too, because it's respect for each other. I mean, the teamwork aspect has to be there because you can't do your job if the kitchen's not doing their job,
100%.
if the hostess is not, like everything. It's like this gear just working together. So
It is. This place is one big old machine. It really, really is.
So speaking of that, I consider the customers part of the team as well. So when customers come in, tell me some things that customers can do to help you help them.
To help me help them?
Yeah.
I like that. You know what? For the most part, listen. Just listen.
Put the phone down.
Put put your phone down. Yes, I'll get you another drink here in a second. Please just, as far as when customers come in, know that this is a job for us. This is a job. This is how most of us pay our bills. This is our livelihood. And one of the good, one of the main things is, what? Just hear us out. Listen to me. Listen to me. Let me tell you what we got going on today. And for the most part, then it's you. Then I'm going to listen to everything you have to say, and I'm going to make that happen.
Yeah.
And do your best to try to come in a good mood. This is a beautiful place.
Yeah.
That's why I said earlier that I'm convinced that money can't buy you happiness. It's why not try to come in a good mood?
Or just be open, right?
Be open to engagement, right? That could be a slogan. Be open to engagement. And another thing that I brought up a couple weeks ago. You know what? Talk to me like you know me. Don't talk to me like you own me. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, absolutely.
I don't want that to sound rude, but that is what it boils down to.
I know we have teenage. Well, we have one son. We have one child, and he's a teenager, and he's as close to perfect as I think a child can be.
Like a true mother.
Oh, come on!
He is a great.
I feel
kid.
the love. I do feel the love at the table.
Incredible. But he's a teenager.
Absolutely.
And he has one of these.
100.
Which is a cell phone for those who are listening.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
For those listening, I'm holding a cell phone. I forget because we're on we'll be on Facebook as well. But when we travel, because he's an only child, we always bring a friend with him. And so we typically have his best friend with him. And we were at a restaurant the other night. We haven't even given the drink order yet. And we're like, put your phone down. Look at the menu. Somebody's going to approach the table soon, and they want you to talk to them and tell them what you would like to have for dinner.
Exactly.
Like, you need to look at the menu. And so there was an article that I shared with you a couple of years ago. I don't know if you remember, but there was a restaurant that had, like, cameras, and they were recording and doing, like, this documentary of how much time is wasted.
Oh, yeah.
With you guys having to wait for us to just put this down and tell you what I want to drink. So that's kind of where I was going is, but I think you hit the nail on the head with how I can be present to.
Absolutely.
I mean, I can't complain about you not bringing me my drink if I didn't tell you what I wanted or I was, whatever, in a bad mood.
And that gets, it does get frustrating. That is frustrating sometimes, but if you do this correctly and if you've done this long enough, as far as when they might take a little break from Instagram and or Snapchat or Facebook, and you can get that one line in. Yeah. What are you drinking?
Right.
And try to make it, because this table directly affects that table.
Right. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So if they're waiting for me, and you just updated a post because you just got into town and you took a picture of a mimosa with strawberries in it and it's delicious, and you haven't looked at the menu, you know what? I'm going to have to go.
Right.
You know what?
Right.
I'll be back.
Yeah.
And I try to keep that moving.
Yeah, you're fast. I will say you're like on it.
Well, sometimes I think it's a little too fast. You know, I try to. That's why I like to think that I overwhelm people.
But I think that comes in when you, like you said earlier, you're a great people reader. So you know the table that is in that rushed sort of.
Oh yeah.
And you know the ones who are just kind of chill, sit back, and I got time. So, yep.
So we were talking about our son. You know, he's 15 years old. He works for Chick-fil-A. He started there when he was 14.
Yeah.
And, you know, Chick-fil-A is one of those companies that everybody thinks about when they think about great customer service. But when we go somewhere...
Except for that article we just read, they didn't include him, and I was a little offended.
Well, they were just wrong.
They were wrong.
But when we go somewhere with our son and he sees examples of poor customer service, it drives him nuts.
And he's 15.
Now, I know that it's got to be the same way for you. So
It is.
What are some things that you could, like, what's some advice that you could give to the small business owner who's listening to just simple things that they could do to give better customer service?
It's hard to put that into perspective. You know, being that I'm not tooting my horn, but I'm kind of tooting my horn that it comes so naturally to me. Treat every person like a family member. That's what I try to do.
That's good.
I try to treat, just like you were talking about earlier, Brian, about me shaking your hand.
Yeah.
I want to set that. I want to set the stage. I'm going to treat you like you're a family member, and hopefully treating you like a family member, like I treat my family members, is going to make you feel comfortable enough that you will, subconsciously already open for engagement. You're already open to me. I'll shake your hand. It's going to shock you. You know what? I'm high-fiving your kids.
Right.
I'm kissing babies. You know, they're going to say, oh.
Bringing treats to the dogs.
Bringing treats to dogs. I love doing that. I love bringing bacon to dogs.
And when you connect with somebody's dog.
Oh, my gosh.
Yes.
It's
you
over.
have just made a connection with them.
Oh, yeah.
It's a done deal.
And another thing I like doing is staring at babies. That might sound weird. I know that sounds weird. But I like staring at babies. You know, I like to think that is the most natural people reader right there. Children. Not like 4 and 5 year olds. I'm talking babies that can't say, hello, Jess, may I have a chocolate milk? But looking at them and they don't cry. I like doing that. Yeah. I think their parents might think it's weird, but for a kid not to look at me and start crying, that says a lot about me. But I do like giving bacon to dogs. I'm a huge fan of that.
Well, what dog doesn't like bacon? I mean...
Well, there's a lot of people around here that don't give their dogs bacon, and I feel bad for the dogs.
Well, that's why they should come here so dogs can get
bacon.
That's right.
That's exactly right.
So, what are the dreams and hopes of Jess?
We don't have enough time. We don't have enough time. No, well, when it comes down to it, I am 3 credits shy of a bachelor's degree in human services. I want to be an addiction therapist for the VA. That is my dream. That is my goal. Now, awesome. Does life automatically, put speed bumps in front of you? Oh yeah, it wouldn't
3
be like
credits.
What's that?
3 classes.
3 classes. Actually, 1 class. It's a field experience.
Oh.
I'm at 117 out of 120 credits to have a bachelor's degree. And for people that know me out there, that's a big feat. But that is my dream. I want to work for the VA, and I want to help out veterans like myself. That's my dream. But right now, it's to get debt-free. Right? I need to make thousands of people fall in love with me. Mm-hmm. That way, I want to be debt-free. There's a lot of things that I want to do with my wife, but instead of me saying, one day I maybe can do it, I have to tell myself, one day it's going to happen. I will do that. Well,
that's the big difference. We were just talking with Mike Ragsdale, actually, yesterday, the founder of the 38
Love you, Mike
Company.
Ragsdale.
Yep. We interviewed him on a podcast yesterday, and we were talking, because we are not all that dissimilar from him in that, well, except that he did it, is moving to the beach. And so that's our dream as well. But there was a point in time not too long ago where we changed what we were saying. We changed our language from we just dream of moving to the beach. We want to move to the beach to we are going to move to the beach.
We are going.
Which is what you just said.
Right.
So, just because you just said you want to be debt-free, I think we would be remiss if we didn't throw out there Dave Ramsey, Financial Peace University. I don't know if you've heard of it. So we went through that several years back. A whole lot of life has happened, and we're actually
we're not debt-free.
We're watching those videos and going through some of that stuff again right now. But if you haven't heard of it, you should really check that out. So, are we ready for a speed round?
I think so.
Bring it.
Yeah.
Bring it on.
Okay. So speed round. We just started this yesterday, and I love it. It's fun to me. So what we're gonna do is just throw something out there.
Okay.
And then you just quickly answer.
Okay.
Like, we didn't put a time limit on it.
No.
But, just fast.
Okay.
Favorite memory.
Making waffles for Mike off American Picker's daughter when he came in, and it was after breakfast.
You made waffles.
I did. I helped his daughter get some waffles.
See, I'm not going to be good at speed round because I want to know more. Best dish at the Great Southern.
Oh, 100% the grits of Yaya. It's been in Southern Living magazine twice. It's why people come here.
So is that separate from just grits? It's just regular grits?
Well, it's our grits that made us famous. Is pretty much the foundation of the plate. The Yaya sauce is what really took it over the top. It's a cream-based sauce with spinach, bacon, portobello mushroom, mixed in with a whole lot of freedom. It's very, very good.
We didn't order that.
No, we didn't. Sounds like that's
but
coming up.
We are going to have some of that key lime pie.
Key lime pie, baby.
Speed round, Kim.
Speed round. All right. Most frequently asked question from customers here.
Where are you from?
They ask you where you're from.
All the time.
Where are you from?
Where are you from? We
South Carolina.
Oh,
right near Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. I claim Myrtle Beach because a lot of people know where it is.
Yep.
Okay.
But for the most part, it's right near Myrtle Beach, a little small town. But nobody ever guessed South Carolina. It's kind of funny, actually.
All right. Describe Seaside in one word.
Diverse.
Okay. I can see that. So at the Great Southern, breakfast, lunch, or dinner?
Breakfast.
Okay. Grits or hash browns?
Grits.
That was an easy one. Well, I already know this one. Best branch of the military?
United States Marine Corps. Everybody knows that.
All right. Describe your mama.
Do you want words?
Well, you could cry if you wanted.
I'm not going to cry. I'm a man. Men don't cry on camera, not unless they're paid to. All around loving. She is the light of my life.
And you get to see her this week.
She's in town.
And you haven't seen her since when?
I haven't seen her since last April, I think. Actually, no. I went home last October. But it's going to be good.
Do a shout out to your mom on Facebook.
BB, I'll see you soon.
Her name is BB?
B-E-B-E. That's right.
Oh, we have a little friend named BB. She's a little chef.
I love you very much.
She's 15.
What?
Yeah. I don't have to ask this question. Introvert or extrovert?
Extrovert.
Okay. Jeep or Bronco?
Jeep.
All right. There you go.
All right. Well, do you have anything else that you would like to talk about, or?
Not really. You know, you guys covered the bases. I usually just, when I meet people, when they come into the restaurant, whatever's on the top of my head is what we talk about. Yeah. So as far as that goes, I appreciate you guys doing this. We'll get the word out about Great Southern. Come get some grits. Come get yourself a mojito.
Key lime pie.
Or key lime pie, right? And find out what we're all about here.
Well, Jess, it's been great. Thank you for being on the Ripple podcast.
You're welcome.
And we are about to dig into this key lime pie.
That's right.
All right.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks.
Appreciate it.